I'm Juan Fernandez.
And I'm Lena Wynn. Less than 24 hours after the big announcement, President Trump's Supreme Court nominee made the rounds on Capitol Hill.
Judge Brett Kavanaugh met some of the lawmakers who will be soon judging him. KCAL 9 political reporter Bryan shows us how the nominee fared today.
We're going to have a thorough process. Hopefully it's efficient. We get it done quickly.
Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh met with one of the key lawmakers who will help decide if he's confirmed to the high court, Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley. With Vice President Pence as his host, the 53-year-old Yale graduate met with other key Republican senators, including Majority Leader Mitch McConnell.
I think the president made an outstanding nomination.
His views are outside the mainstream, and there's every reason to believe he would overturn Roe.
California Senator Dianne Feinstein's making it crystal clear where she stands on the nomination. Feinstein and her California Senate colleague Kamala Harris are both on the Senate Judiciary Committee, which will vet Kavanaugh's record and decide whether the full Senate should take up his nomination.
President Trump set out to keep his word to the American people that he would nominate once again a justice to the Supreme Court who would faithfully interpret the Constitution as written.
With the GOP holding a razor-thin majority in the Senate, moderate Republicans such as Susan Collins of Maine and Lisa Murkowski of Alaska will be crucial.
I'm going to apply a very rigorous test.
He certainly has the qualifications, but I know that there will be further process.
Democrats hope to flip Collins and Murkowski to their side, assuming every Democrat votes against Kavanaugh. Minority Leader Chuck Schumer today made his case to the public.
We must defeat Judge Kavanaugh's nomination to the bench to save women's reproductive freedom, to save health care protections for millions, to save the rights and freedoms that all Americans enjoy. The ramifications of this battle will last a generation and more. I'm going to fight this nomination with everything I've got.
Voters are watching you!
With the political balance of the Supreme Court at stake, liberal political activist groups are urging Democrats to mount a full-scale battle to block the nomination.
The best of the best.
Fighting back, conservative support organizations like the Judicial Crisis Network are spending millions on TV and online ads supporting the Kavanaugh nomination. They're targeting red state Democratic senators who are up for re-election in November, pushing for yes votes to confirm Kavanaugh. The flashpoint issue of abortion may haunt Kavanaugh at the hearings. As a judge, he ruled against an immigrant teenager seeking an abortion while in federal detention. But he angered social conservatives when he refused to go further, to say she has no constitutional right to an abortion. Moderate Maine Republican Senator Susan Collins considered a possible negative confirmation vote because she supports abortion rights, noted Kavanaugh's restraint in that case.
Well, I'm sure that that's a case that we will discuss.
Democrats are also focusing on a law review article Kavanaugh wrote in 2009 that said a president should not face criminal investigation while in office, and instead he should be impeached if there's wrongdoing.
He's even argued that sitting presidents shouldn't face criminal investigation. No investigation of a president.
But one key red state Democrat, Senator Joe Manchin from West Virginia, says he has no issue with the Kavanaugh article and is keeping an open mind on the confirmation.
I think we need to look at it and do a deep dive, do our job. And right now, senators are making decisions and making how they're going to be on these issues, and I think it's wrong.
Kavanaugh worked with former independent counsel Kenneth Starr in the investigation of President Bill Clinton in 1998. Starr told CNN that Kavanaugh would make a great Supreme Court justice and will respect precedent, like in Roe v. Wade.
He takes the oath and he's going to, and this I am absolutely confident of, treat each issue, including these most delicate issues, with an absolute open mind. He will also have great respect for precedent.
The Trump administration would like to see the confirmation hearing begin in September. They are hoping that Kavanaugh can be confirmed before the November midterm elections, when the balance of power in the Senate could change dramatically. Bryan, KCAL 9 News.